Good afternoon, everyone, and happy April 2nd. I am Brian. That is Desiree and Melissa back in the nick of time, right when we start, is below me, above me there. This is Revit Radio, where you guys ask Revit questions and we attempt to answer them. Our answer might be, I don't know, but it's still going to get an answer for you guys. So if you do have questions, please put those in the Q&A pod. It's much easier for the three of us to keep track of those. But otherwise, feel free to heckle, tell us we're wrong on our answers, whatever you're thinking of in the chat pod. So with that said, yes, I see a couple people said, "Woo, Revit came out today, and Revit Radio is the first day." Technically, they released it last night, which I thought was crazy. They put all the Autodesk 25 products out like 9 o'clock last night or 8 o'clock Pacific time, and it was like, you guys are literally releasing your products on April Fool's Day. I thought it was crazy. I know. I don't know if you also saw the Bird Tools tweet yesterday saying that they were putting Revit in maintenance mode. It was like, nice try. That's terrible, terrible April Fool's joke. So with that said, as you guys know, we only have a show if you guys actually ask questions. If there's no questions, you get to hear us talk. At least today, there's Revit 25. Now I know Desiree and I downloaded and installed it, but I could ask Melissa because she was giving me crap last night. Did you actually get it downloaded and installed?
Oh, well, the internet just died just now, so of course not. They don't.
Okay. You were giving me crap last night, so I wasn't sure if you were going to
I,
already have it.
but I'm sure Aaron's already got the deployments already.
Oh
So
yeah, he
We
already
already tweeted
he
about
tweeted
it.
at like 8 this morning saying let the deployments go.
then absolutely, I have it downloaded. It's just on the
So with
network and
So
internet
with
stays
that
up.
said, for those of you who are available to actually go download it, you can grab the go to your manage.autodesk.com and download through the all products and services your new Revit. For me, every year it's really bizarre. I see the AutoCAD 25 update, but then I never see the rest of them unless I clear my internet cache. Took me a while to realize this last year. I was like 2 months in, and I'm like, I still can't see it. I had downloaded it through a different client's portal, but for me, and I don't know what it is, I have to clear my internet cache to actually see what's going on there. Also found out that Civil 3D got released yesterday, and there's already an update for it. But if you do go download the update, like today, if you go download the Civil 3D, it does include that update in the original download. So just thought it was hilarious that it was like, yeah, I know the one time in Revit when they were still shipping CDs, before you got your CD shipped to you, there was actually an update already. So yeah, I'm dating myself on Revit there. But yeah, so if you are using Civil 3D, that is there. I also always like to remind everybody that you can go to the product updates and get some of those extensions that you might be looking for. Like if you use the advanced steel extension for Revit, or you want to download the content, right? You want to go download the Revit content specific to you. Those are also going to be in your product update. So I personally always download the out of the box content. I don't ever upgrade it each year because I want to see if they did make any changes, etc. I have not had the chance to do that yet. But even like the room book, building book extension, so those are all going to be there as you start jumping in to look at it. The other thing too is if you do want to know what's new, I'm sure we're going to start getting a plethora of it. But if you do go up into your help, you can say what's new, and that is just going to take you online to the what's new to show you what is new in 25. So do you have that? You do have that going on. I always like to tell everybody to scroll past all the stuff that gets the good and come down here to see what else is going on. The one that I noticed right before we started this is they're calling it interface enhancements. So for those of you who don't know, Autodesk's eventual goal is to get rid of the options bars, right? The options bar is the line of data you get down here. So like if I switch over to a floor plan and I grab something that's modeled, you'll see like, oh, we've got the modify wall here. There's no longer anything there. But if we were to go start the wall tool, we will see that there are options down here. Autodesk is trying to move everything from the options bar either to the ribbon or to the properties. So when I looked at the little help, I'm like, oh, look at here's our beautiful help that's going on there. One of the things they talk about is, oh, a couple of these things we've gotten rid of from the options bar and either moved it to the ribbon or to the properties palette. So
Oh, good. The
FYI, that
ellipse.
is one. What was that, Melissa?
That's good. They moved the ellipse lin.
Yeah, the ellipse. I didn't even know. And a lot of them are just stupid little buttons that they've moved. Like, I don't know, for me, when they did Align a while back,
Maybe
and they
it
went
really
actually
is a cool
and
stroke
moved
then.
the Align, it pissed me off actually. The Align one, I was not a happy camper on because Align, we used to have the multiple alignments and the lock all down here. Now, since it's a ribbon button, it's a separate tool. So like when I'm in sketch mode, then the align is a separate tool, and I kind of keep having to bounce back between finish sketch and the modify align. So this one I was kind of actually upset with. The rest of them I'm like whatever, but this one it just added more clicks for me. But so yes, those things are slowing away. Autodesk eventually wants to get rid of the options bar. They have said that. I don't think it's going to be any time in the next decade, to tell you the truth. But as they make modifications to things, so
I have to get back that precious 3 millimeters of screen space.
next screen space, yeah, exactly. So there are a lot of the go back here, a lot of big things. I don't know. My biggest thing that I've been looking forward to, and I've been playing with and looking at this in the beta, is the arrays of ones and zeros. So of course you guys can't tell, we only have one question right now. So we're trying to figure out, okay, cool, here we go. We're trying to wait for you guys to type in some more questions, otherwise we'll keep going on for a while. But I played with this one a little bit this morning. Like I said, I did just download this, and this was going to be one of the ones that was fun for me. But let's go to my recent files. I started to realize that I'm like, cool, we could now have arrays of ones or zeros. This is going to be cool. I'm going to be able to go into all of my little families and start being like, cool, let me get rid of the check value I have for this. I call it the quantity actual or something, and come in here and start saying what it is. What I started to realize is if I came in here and changed this one to allow me to do the zero counts, it starts telling me, cool, division by zero. This has nothing to do with the array, but it's the fact that I have things down here using the quantity value as opposed to my quantity check. That when I start doing that, it now is like, oh, well, that formula breaks because you can't divide something by zero, right? Because you'll get a zero value and it's going to break Revit. So I did start to realize on a lot of my families, holy crap, that's not really going to work for me because I'm using that quantity check in formulas. However, I did have one that I did just open up quickly and it did work with. So on this one here that I opened up and played with, I have a masking region over the top of a filled region to represent my brick quantities, right? Because if I came in here and I have like a king size brick, and that's not the right button. If I have a king size brick and I come in here to look at that king size brick, which I probably have in a type catalog, where I had like 5 holes or something like that, right? Cool. Here's my 5 holes. I hit apply. Now it's giving me the 5 holes. But the nice part is now if I come down here and say, cool, I want 0 holes, it will allow me to do that without breaking, right? So it'll go in there and all it's doing is turning the visibility on to these. So it is a little bit weird that the visible button is still visible, but when you're taking that array down to a value of 1 or 2, it's going to automatically take the ones in the array and basically say, cool, we're going to go here in here and start looking at those. So I thought it was kind of weird that it's just graying it out. Is it just excluding it? Nope. It's not excluding. I was wondering if it was like looking at it as a group, because when I tab selected that, I got the group icon, which I didn't notice before.
Is that because you have your array defined first to last? I wonder if it would do something different if it was first to second.
I don't think so, because if I come back in here, I can actually we can change that in play. If I come in here and said, oh no, give me an array of 1, right? I can say, okay, and then mine does center it, and then it does make that black again. So it's nice to see that I actually had formulas in here to move it to the right location. Ooh, if there's only 1 hole in this brick, it centers it. Kind of cool. But I do think it is going to take some of these families of getting into them and looking at, hey, what do we got going on? What are we doing here? It was kind of the same thing as like when I was, nope, not that one. Dang it. Wrong family.
Recording in progress.
Oh, Melissa's now in here twice. I'm muting the other Melissa. There we go. So it was funny when I came back in here into, again, like I said, I went to my recents, I looked at this void form one. This is one, and I'll show you kind of the steps that I usually do. If I look up at this array, I've got one called quantity actual. So most of the times what I've done is I've created one that basically says if the quantity is less than 2, give me 2, otherwise use the value, right? And that's how I've been able to come through here and say, oh, cool, somebody came in here and gave me a quantity of 2, which in this case, it's all based off of the length. If my length came down here and went to 12, then my quantity is going to go to 2. If my length came down here and went to 8, my quantity technically goes to 1. But this one says, yeah, no, screw you. I've got to make it 2 anyway, right? And then what I've done is I usually have, it's actually working here. What I usually then have is values where I have another instance on top of it. And as Desiree has found a couple times, that sometimes you result in double counting. What's happening here is the two that I'm getting are literally just going on top of each other. So I've got a value here where my array, I'm gonna go change my length value to be like 16 or something again, whatever. My length value here starts coming in, and it's just doing a first to last. They go on top of each other. So when I give it a value of 1 inside of there, it actually puts 2 on top of each other. But now if I, oops, cancel that. If I come back here and grab this and just say, cool, let's just use the actual quantity button, not the one where I'm saying make this 2, right? That instantly would have broke us in the past. So in the past, if my quantity would have come down to be a 2 or a 1 value that was associated to an array, it would just break. Wow, there's only an array of 1 here. I would break. That's what I'm using. I'm no longer using this one, so I'll delete it. It's now going to let me do that, right? You can see that there's the gray one on top, but there's still the black one beyond. So they're just hiding those values and making work. And this is the one for me that, again, like I said, I'm going to be super excited about. And I just thought of a family I could go open.
If what it's doing for 0 is just moving away, I wonder if it's not going to solve the double counting anomaly.
It's turning it off, but yes, I don't know. So I'm gonna have to go in and actually, good question. I'm gonna have to go in there and start to see. We'll go to 23. I just thought of one that I could actually open and play with this one where I have things on top of each other. Furniture.
It doesn't always double count. It's weird. It's like sometimes something breaks it.
Yeah, well, I don't have that problem as much. So like here's a perfect example. So you can see I've got these two that are part of an array, and if I hide those two, this one's just an individual one. And this one's just got a visible parameter to it that basically saying, hey, chair end to single, right? And if I go look at this one, the chair end to single is basically coming in here, and it's a formula saying if chair quantity equals 1, turn it on. If it equals 2, turn it off, or inverse that, whichever. So we've got that basically setting up here for the single value. So now I don't think I would have to do that, because if I take this one and just delete it and we go back to the restore, if I now were to come into my chair, and I'm not sure which one I did, which value is this one? Chair end quantity. So just chair end. Wasn't sure if I had one for each. Wait, did I say chair end 1 or chair end 2? Chair end quantity. Actual 2, so it's chair 2. So if I come over here now to chair 2 quantity and chair end quantity, if I were to go say make this 1, theoretically, well, it's still going to show me 2 because I got to go fix the formula. Hold on. Let's just go back and make this one just chair end. Chair end, quantity of 1. You'll see it's just graying out that one.
Wow, that's not centering it.
No, it's because the way I set this, because again, I probably did this one. I just said, hey, align it to the ends and call it a day, and that's all I cared about. But so again, this sounds great. We can now have 0s and 1s. I'm gonna have to go back and rethink some of these. Like if I only want 1 chair in here, but now I'm not gonna get that stupid warning. Oh, results will count in double counting because there's elements on top of each other, where I was putting them on top of each other. So hopefully we'll be able to play with this. I don't know how much. It's kind of like when we originally got the when you have a void, you could say cuts geometry or not on the void. I didn't fix a whole lot of my families where I was moving the voids up and off because I'm kind of like, is it worth it? I don't know. If I readdress those families, I'll go back. But to me, that was one of the big ones.
Feels a little like future families will benefit, but maybe not worth going and breaking all your old stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Some of these I might go in and play where, I know I'm having issues. And this one, the only reason I'll go into VG and turn on all the annotated stuff, this one, it moves the circles outside. So like I said, I haven't totally played with this, but that's only because it's moving the circles to the outside when I make that value 0 because of how I've got this set up. Oh, an O is not a 0. Close. I hate it. I hate the O key right next to the 0 key. So that's the only reason, because I actually have some sort of value here. It's like, hey, take it. So I'm technically moving it past the other end, and the way my formula is set up for the whole distance. I don't think this is going to affect the family, but again, we load it in. If I now can start aligning to this reference plane or whatever, it might blow it up. But so that's there. That was kind of one of the ones I was really, really looking into, how we see. So a couple of the other tools that they've got, and know if I like this tool. I've been very adamant in the beta forums on I'm not sure if this is a great tool, but one of the tools that they have now is when you're creating a wall, you have this auto join or auto join and lock. So this auto join and lock, what it means is that, hey, if I come in here in a perfect case like this, I've got this wall here. If I come in here and model this with the auto join and lock turned on, now if this wall moves, did I not have it checked? Let me try that again. I probably deselected it. Let's go to the wall command. I probably turned it off. It is not highlighted. So if I turn it back on, it's got to be highlighted. So very simplistic. I don't also like the interface here. Like it's pretty non-apparent that that's there or not. Who else? Melissa again. So if I come in here and click this and I go across, right? Now it was turned on. You'll see that I now get the padlock. So that wall has been constrained. So if I move this wall, the one that's been auto joined and a lock works. The other theory on it is if I go create similar for a door, theoretically it's been auto joined. So if I put a door in here, then theoretically it should cut the opening out. This is the I probably hosted it into the thin wall. Let's try that again. I'll host it into the fat wall, not the thin wall. Actually, I wanted to use a different door because I did try it with that door earlier, and it was not working earlier, which I want to see if it's broken. I want to see if I've already found a broke feature on this. I just want my door single. Sure, the door double will work too. So this is the thing I said, theoretically it's joined, so that should be getting cut out. I have not had that work for me. And if I go back to do the join tool, it's already thinking they're joined, so I can't join this wall to this wall because they're already joined. But for me, this new feature has not been working in my template. I haven't tried it with out of the box, but if I add a door later, I have not been seeing that that's working for me. So we'll do a new wall that there's a door already in there. Auto join and lock is on. It's not joining for me.
I'll try it.
So this is me in my template. It might be working out of the box template. So that was kind of the things for me.
Worked out of the box.
The other thing that, let's pull one of these walls back. The other thing that we'll start to see inside of here too, that theoretically now there is the auto wrap feature. So if I go back to the helps, that's not the helps. If I go back to the help button down here, the other one they had is create walls. Nope, not that one. Where is it? Yeah, in canvas wrapping, wall wrapping controls. So theoretically now, the way we get the wall that can wrap at the end, we should be able to come through here and start saying, no, I don't want, or I do want that to wrap, which to me, this is a big deal. I have a lot of clients who create walls that have gypsum board on the end, then the identical wall that doesn't have that wrap happening on it for their floor plans. So if I go edit the type of this wall, I think wrapping has to be turned on. So wrapping at ends, I'm gonna go say interior, sure. And now when I grab this wall, you'll see, so since the wrapping has been turned on, you can choose to turn that on or off. So to me, this is kind of one of the, I like this feature. Obviously, you're only going to get that if the walls are unjoined. You're not going to get that if your walls are joined, etc. So that to me is a nice little feature that they've added. I don't use a whole lot of this tag toggling or having this on there, but now it's kind of nice that you can go through and set that up. So the other thing that did confuse me slightly, I think, when I was in the beta, is this join or the auto join and lock up here is different than the join status down here. This join status is talking about at the ends. This auto join up here is talking about walls parallel to each other. So I did think that was a little bit of a confusing part for me.
Is that architectural walls only?
The
Like,
join
yeah, because I just opened it to try it and it's not there for a structural wall.
is your auto wrap turned on? So on the
No,
type properties
the
of your
auto
wall.
joint, the auto join and lock button's only there for an architectural wall for me, so I don't know.
Oh, let me see. Structure wall. So you're correct.
Screw you, Autodesk. Why do you forget about the structural engineers?
Why are you not in the beta testing this stuff to tell them that it doesn't count for structural walls?
I don't have time. That's what I have you for. Really?
So you were correct. In the structural wall command, that feature is not there.
Kiana's crying right now. I can hear her. That is dumb. What if I do it as an architectural with the lock on and then switch it to structure?
And then I do see that Javier posted a question in the chat. He doesn't use it because you can't actually snap to the stud in point. You are correct. With Revit, this isn't actually modeling that. If we go back to 3D and look at it, it's not actually putting the gypsum board, oops, wrong 3D. But it's not actually putting the gypsum board on the end of that wall. It's not doing that finish. It is just a graphic 2D representation in plan. So I will say that Autodesk has been talking about actually making all of the walls layered systems, not pseudo layered systems like we currently have, like literally to be more like the parts tool if we had the parts tool. That's kind of what their goal is going to be for this. I know it's a multi-year process, and I think some of these edits are what they're talking about with the multi-layered walls when we get those. It's like theoretically I can model a wall and be like, oh, let me take this gypsum board and pull it back. That's something they've been discussing. I don't know how far out it is. It's in the ideas forum. It's been places that they're talking about. So it is there that they're talking about it. So who knows? Somebody asked, does this work with inserts too? I don't know. Let's go throw a door in here. Let's go to my door. Let's change this to be an inset door. And let's make sure we have the wall closure for the exterior. Probably should be using it out of the box here to see if that works, but put it there. And then, oops, let me add a type on that. And let me go make that distance. I have this on mine to be adjustable. I don't have it automatic. So let me just go through here and check. I believe it's only on ends. So we've got that there. Now we pick the wall. Yeah, I don't believe it's at openings. I do believe it's only at the ends. But I wonder if that's because I'm doing that control via this. Let's go to here, say edit type, and let's say wrapping it inserts. Let's say full. Uh-oh, there it goes. And then let's go to my door and change it to be by host. So nope, does not give me the capability if it's built into the wall. So not at openings, only at ends.
It's totally fully baked.
So, and by the way, FYI, in case you guys did not know this, if you did notice that I had my wall set to none, do not wrap at inserts. Most people don't know that any family that has a wall hosted family that has a door, or excuse me, a door or window, a wall hosted family has an opening built into it. The opening allows you to come up here and choose what is the wall closure. So by default, that comes up as by host, but you can switch those to be whichever you want. Neither of them. So even if the host says it, you can say, no, don't wrap it here. So Simon, no, who asked that question? Don't remember who asked the question, but whoever asked that question, if you don't want this one door to have that wrapping, you can actually say this door type, create a type and say neither. And even if the wall has it, you can turn it off that way. That's always been there.
The door works in my template, and as does modeling it as an architectural wall with auto join turned on and then changing it to structure.
So it's now working with my door family. I just got to figure out why. When I went to my simplified door,
Time to rebuild everything.
yeah, no, I don't use that tool anyway.
I feel like I get all excited about something and then it's like, oh, but it only works 80% of what I need it for.
Yeah, Beth asked, am I using voids or openings? Yes. If you look at my family and I hover over my family, or if I select my family, you see like little blue rectangles here, Beth. The opening cuts the wall. And then I have a void family built into my door that I can actually use to cut the finishes. I think it wrong 3D view. I mean, I'm even using Neat UI with the color-coded 3D view, and I still can't click the right button. Man.
I was gonna say.
So for me, when I place a door, and I'll just go create a new one of this, when I put it in there, you'll see, and I'll flip this door. So one more flip. You'll see that when I go in there, it's actually cutting a hole through the wall, and I'm not cutting the finishes here. So for me and my door family, I built a void into it. And again, you can see the void if I hover over it, because I don't use the join geometry here, because if I did, and I'll do the join geometry real quick. So if I come up here and say join this wall to this one, cool, it breaks with my door. Undo that. Let's join this wall to this one, the opposite direction. So my doors are just fucked on the join in 25. But in 24, if I did that, what would happen is this would go to where the opening is. So my little trim piece that comes across here would get cut, you know, halfway through the casing, which I don't want. So for me, I built those void families in there so I can use the cut tool and say, hey, let's cut this by the door. Yeah, it's really freaking out. Let me go unjoin real quick. I should have really, I guess, tried this in my 25. My family's in the 25 beta. So let me try the cut tool again as I cut this by this. Sure, it's breaking, but that's theoretically what I did here. I'll have to see what's going on in my 25 stuff. So I use the cut tool so I can get this to cut where I want. The other reason why I've done that, this is not a wall-based family. This is a generic model, or this is a casework family. If I wanted to cut those around the door as well, I can still use my cut tool utilizing those voids. So that's why I'm using it. That's why I do that, Bev, is because I build the voids independent of my openings so I can have a higher level of flexibility with that. So any questions come up on the things we've been showing so far? I guess Rick had one. So if you're using array as a void, like the sinkholes for a counter, sinkholes and a countertop, will actually get rid of the holes if you say only one. I don't know. I have not played with that yet, Rick. I don't imagine it well, because usually if a void is cutting something and you turn the void off, it's not cutting it. It's just going in and telling you not to make that void visible. So I can't imagine. I guess we could try something real quick. Just do a let's go do a family. New family. Family. Generic model is fine. Not adaptive. Let's create an extrusion. Let's do a rectangle. Woohoo, that's not rectangle. Has this always been up here? What's the depth, or is that new as well? I don't recall seeing depth in the option or in the ribbon as I've created extrusions or solids in the past.
I've only been the annotation family so far.
No, I'm in 24 and prior was that there.
Mm.
Cool. Let's
I
go
like it with-
create a void. Do void extrusion. We'll do a circle this time right here. Cool. We'll finish it. We have that there. So now if we take this and array this, we'll move to last. Oh wait, Desiree had a question on move to second, so we'll just do a move to second.
Oh yeah, I'm curious what it does.
And then we'll grab this and we'll parameterize it. And then we'll come in here and say quantity of 3, make sure it's working. Cool, quantity of 1. No, it actually is quantity of 0. Wow. So yes. It's probably somehow using the cuts geometry to disassociate that. But yes, so to answer this question, was that Rick, to answer your question, Rick, yes, it does look like that's going to work for us.
Is it going to work in the project environment though?
And then I'm still curious about the counting, because if it's just toggling the visibility checkbox, that's essentially what we're doing on our own prior to this tool. That was,
Yeah, I don't know, because it's not technically toggling it. I mean, that's the whole thing, is when you go down to it, the visible and the cuts geometry, whatever, it's not unchecked. So I don't know how it's working, but yeah, that'll be a thing. Let's do a,
yeah.
let's delete this. Let me go insert, load family.
Well, I have that one that is currently not working. I could just
We'll
open
go
it.
to, oops, we'll go to my folder. Sorry, I don't have any of my shortcuts set up yet. I literally just installed this today. Mackie, Revit families. We have to go to 24. Let's grab something I know that would be nested, would be furniture. We'll grab a chair.
Nested and shared.
Yeah, it is. So we'll load that in here. Furniture chair task, put it in here. Cool. Let's array this. Great. Let's grab the array. Let's add it to my quantity. Let's load that into a project. Place that very sexy family right there. Let's go. I shouldn't have made it. I should have made it an instance property, but who cares? We'll go back and say 0. And then we'll go do a furniture schedule. Oh, they changed something up here also for everybody to know that the filters here, they've switched categories or added categories around. So in your filters that you have up here, this is also a new feature of 25. They added or removed some things, like some of the things they thought should have been mechanical or also whatever. They have changed some of those around. So that is also a new feature of 25. Family and type, count. So currently we have 0. We go back to this and change that value to be 1. We'll make sure that schedule says 1. I probably should have tiled that view. And only 1. So hopefully that will fix it. So the voids work, and so hopefully all your new stuff, that's going to work for everybody. Who knows? I'm just guessing here.
I'm gonna try it with the one with what I know is broken.
Yeah, it's gonna fix some things and break others. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's like I said, when the whole cuts geometry tool or the cuts void tool came out where you can add a cut or not cut geometry, I was like, yeah, that didn't, I'm not going to go back and fix any of my families that use that. No, I'm good. And then so something else, and I did see this as a question, is they theoretically changed something in the material browser. I honestly don't know what they changed. I opened this up real quick earlier and I'm like, okay, the looks slightly different, like different fonts or something. But I honestly did not know what they changed inside of here. And this was one of the things they said that was a new update. I just gotta remember where I saw it. If anybody sees it and I pass it, let me know. Material browser improvements. Quicker thumbnail generation. Sweet. There you go. And oh yeah, this was a big one. I did play with this in the beta. Batch select materials. Because before we were not able to grab more than one material in the browser. You can now grab more than one material here. You think that that's like, oh my God, we can grab more than one, and then we can, delete them or change their names or add to a material library. Oh my God, we can actually do that now. Or change, something like the keynote on all of these, right? The fact that we can now do this is big. I had before issues where it's like, cool, I want to make all of these, this keynote or something. It was like, oh my God, seriously, one at a time. So yes, but batch select was there. They did also talk about faster thumbnail generations. Honest truth for me, and this is something I tell everybody, I don't ever have these set up by thumbnail sizes. For me, I only ever do text view. I don't have images on there because those images take a while to regenerate. I don't ever display them. I'm always set up here to be list view, or sorry, text view, not list view. I see some people who do this and they bitch that their material browser takes like 20 minutes to open. It's like, well, yeah, you have 5,000 materials in your project and it's got to regenerate every single one of those. So for me, I'm always by text only. Also for me, when I go to the appearance tab, I don't have this icon super huge. Like I go to some of my clients' offices and they have it like this. And I'm like, first off, I don't want to have to scroll down here. But second of all, it's got to preview those. You can see the generation taking. I collapse that. Until I'm working on it, I don't even need to see that thumbnail. There's no thumbnail. My dialog box opens up pretty quickly. Since we're in your other tips, I always like to show, I don't think everybody understands that you can actually say, only show me what's in use in the project or the unused ones in the project. This is going to be great because now that I can select multiples, I can be like, cool, these aren't used, delete. I no longer need to use the purge command. I can just come down here and say, hey, show me the unused versions. So yeah, you have those options. The other thing that a lot of people don't use is the filter here. Personally, for me, I have all of my interior materials filtered by interior materials in my template. I have all my exterior materials separated by exterior materials, and that's how structural materials, my structural, etc. This is how I can start coming through and quickly find my materials in a browser when I'm looking at it. Oh, I lost. Oh no, it's because I had multiple selected. I was like, I lost my tabs. It was only because I had multiple selected. Right? So how it uses the filter over here, it's whatever class you have. That's how it filters these out over here. I really wish we could filter a schedule by these. That would be freaking amazing, but class is only used for here. So FYI, so yes, that's the new materials thing, multiple select, and then the thumbnail preview if you have thumbnails turned on.
Looked like it was a pull down menu though on the appearance tab.
What was that?
It looked like it was a little pull down menu on the appearance tab.
Oh, on that on the help file?
Yeah.
Render settings quick. Oh, good catch. So oh, in the scene. So that's over here in this one where you've got the scene. You've got the environment. Render scene, quick draft production. Now is that per material?
But now you can multi-split. Oh, wait. The appearance tab was
I was gonna say that's per material, and that's not a system setting. That's gonna drive me crazy because the environment's per material. So is the scene. The scene I know is per material. I don't know. Is the environment per material too? Yeah. So these ones are global. The scene is per material. So good catch, Melissa. I did not see that. Yes,
Oh, my
always
intro-
put that on quick. I have no idea why you would ever want to be in production quality in here personally, but. And now I'm curious, was that there before? Was there like some sort of setting in here before that was like draft to production and I just added quick? So who's 24 open? Whoever has 24 open, just out of my curiosity, check that out for me. So yes, Simon, that is your change on the material browser. And then the other thing that they started talking about, and I have not done this at all, so we are all going to learn this together. But they do have now what are called sheet collections, and I don't even know where to get this. I played with it originally. Sheet composition, you would think it would be here. Maybe it's down on the right click on sheets. Yep. So you will see the sheets icon also, I believe, changed, but where is the sheet collection?
number 2.
New sheet, boom, boom, boom. Dang, I'm actually gonna go off to the help and figure out where this one is. Let's go back.
Literally said sheet and then new sheet collection. Just saying.
Yeah, so theoretically what's happening, yeah, I right clicked on sheet and said new sheet collection. It did not come up. Am I missing something? Sheet, right click. Oh, right there. I'm just blind. So you can now have what are called new sheet collections. And what this is allowing you to do, and I think I have a lot of clients who are going to benefit from this, is like, oh, gee, we've got package 1, package 2, package 3 for all these sheets to go out. So you can start creating different sheets. I think that's probably a bad example. Maybe I'm doing one building and I'm going to do one permit set, another permit set, and an additional permit set, right? Not necessarily package 1, 2, or 3, because that could imply just different phases of the project. Where it's going to be nice on this is the fact that if I do come in here and call this collection 1, and we'll do a new sheet collection, and we'll call it collection 2, I can then grab these sheets and I can say, cool, I believe, I think you just drag and, can't imagine it's a drag and drop. So if I grab this sheet, is it a property in the sheet collection? Yeah, so sheet collection here, I can now say, cool, I want this to go be part of sheet collection 1. All right, so now I've got my A101s on sheet collection 1. I can right click on collection 2 and say I want to do a new sheet. Sure, we'll grab that title block. Here's the bizarre part to me. Under sheet collection 2, I can also come in here and give it the same name. So I have A-101. If I come down here, I can give this the same name of A- wait a second. No, A10, right here. You'll see that I now have an A101. Let me give it a dash. Is the other one space dash? No, just dash. So it is allowing the same sheet numbers as long as those sheets are part of the same collection. Now, if I were to take this one and be like, no, 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 I want to go move that to collection 1, it's going to tell me that's already in use. So we're now able to have sheets with the same sheet numbers, sheet names. Well, we've always been able to do names, but the same sheet numbers, as long as they're part of different collections. If you try to move them to the other collections or out of the collection together, then you can go through and cool, it'll let me move one of those out of there. But the second one I grab the other, again, it's going to tell me the same thing. So if you are working in one model and you've got different packages you're delivering, you can now start having the same types of sheets. Yeah, Marta's like, the jury's out on this one. I haven't played with this one a whole lot into this to see what's going on, to see what's going inside of here. I haven't played with that. My other question is, can I just drag and drop it? Collection 1. You can, so you can also drag and drop. I was thinking I remember beta said it was a drag and drop, but it's also properties as you start looking at it. So I haven't played with this yet. Can the collection name be added to a title block? Ooh, that's a good question. Family. Let's grab a label.
Schedule that.
Crap, I hate that. Who else hits the wrong edit every time you're editing a label within the family? Am I the only person who always hits the wrong freaking one?
No, no, you are not.
Key collection. So yes, you can.
Huh.
Crap. Actually, it's if you hit the double. It helps if you hit the double click button. Nope. Don't want scale. Sheet collection.
Okay, now you have to go see if it's a field in the sheet index.
Sheet collection. Load into project and close. I think we're in project 1.
Come on, sheet index.
Big money, no wins.
I know.
I always hate loading. I always hate editing and loading title blocks because if you have a lot of title blocks, that can be a 15-minute process.
Oh, 15 minutes? That's cute.
Did you catch the question about your paint tag, Brian?
Nope.
Okay. Everybody's using the chat today.
We'll load this, then I'll let you tell me. So that's none. So if we grab this sheet and we move it back to the sheet collection, of collection 1. Cool. Collection 2.
Okay,
Rename this.
This is going to be one of those. Does this actually help? I like your.
And then I'm assuming a sheet index at this point in time too. We went to a sheet index.
Prove it.
Sheet list.
Well, it's either going to be like the way you want it to be, or it's going to be like phases where it's like when you create the schedule, you call it.
Or sheet collection.
Oh.
And then I'm assuming we'll be able to filter also by the sheet collection.
Oh.
Well, now we can redo all our groupings. This will be nice because we have like a presentation chunk in our template, which
right. That all the presentation sheets you then never want to be set on there.
Very nice. Okay, and then can you print? Does your sheet collection go? I know this is me showing that I'm in the beta, but I haven't actually had time for that.
I can't imagine they would stop it, not allowing you to do print sets based on it.
Oh, create a print set view?
Really?
No. So my other question is, even though they're already grouped together here, if I come back up to my sheets. So 2 questions on that since you asked that question. Let's go down to sheets. Browser organization. Can you go to sheets now and edit and filter by just the sheet collection? Yep. Yay. So you can filter by the sheet collection. Cancel. And then let's go to a print set.
There's got to be something they forgot. They never get it all.
They never get it all.
That's true, Rick. He's saying just because you're in the beta doesn't mean it gets rolled out the same. This is fair.
I don't see any way to select. Oh, there you go.
It's not in collection.
Only see the ones in that sheet set.
Okay, so we still have to add the collection to a sheet set.
We'd have to create one for it, but yeah. So as you create new collections, or yeah, sheet collections, you'd have to add it.
So if, say, you already have like 12 million sheets in your template, you can get those all added and
Yeah. So so like I said, the jury's still out on this one. I think this is going to be a good improvement for me. I also think that people are going to start using it as a hack to get the same sheet name twice. But
well, I can think of a lot because we would do tenant improvements. And so it ended up being like pull them out into different files mostly because of
exactly, and that's where my brain went on this, because I have clients exactly like you said. They've got an entire building. Oh, we're doing this lobby remodel. Oh, we're doing, you know, level 1 floor, area. Boom. So yeah, I think this is going to be using it. I love it. Brian, MEP engineer, is like, cool. I can't wait for
Read that
architects to
too.
upgrade in 3 years so we can start using it.
Yeah, I feel your pain, Brian. I'm in 22 right now.
Oh, I am glad you said that, Melissa. There's something I wanted to bring up. So Autodesk licensing allows you to go current version, and depending on how you bought it, I don't understand why it varies. It's current version +3. Some of my clients, Autodesk has told them it's current version +4. But the reason I always like to point that out is if your Revit 25 is out, so that means if we're going back 3 versions, we get 24, 23, and 22. Right? If you're going back 4, you can get back to Revit 21. 20 and 19 technically are no longer valid licenses. Right? The reason why I say this is I currently have a client who's using Revit 19 on a project, and Autodesk is trying to fine them for using Revit 19 because it breaks the in-user license agreement, even though they're on named seats. Those old seats happen to be like standalones or network. I don't remember. Autodesk is trying to fine them because they are breaking the EULA on year back more than 4 versions. So just FYI, I want to put that together. So Binkley, for you to understand, hey, I needed to get my people to upgrade from Revit 20. That might be a valid reason. We can no longer officially use 20 per Autodesk, blah, 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 blah. That's what I've been telling clients, and actually have gotten 4 projects upgrade because of that. So
I was just thinking how it's kind of nice not being in that situation anymore. I was just talking to my team earlier this morning saying, oh, we get to decide when we upgrade because we don't have any architects in Revit. So is that worse? But they're all still in CAD? I don't know what's better.
well, I'm just happy for the Civil 3D people, for all those people who say, sorry, I was watching the trash truck. We had our trash way overloaded. When you see the people who are like, I'm waiting for the first service pack. You already got the first service pack for Civil 3D, so what's the problem, people? Let's go. Let's start using it.
Not the first time that's happened.
Technically, it's a hot fix, but who knows? So yeah, that's the other big thing. So do spend some time. We actually have a couple of questions that I think we need to really get into that aren't just about the what's new. But do spend some time. Go back into the 23. A lot of typography enhancements. Exporting to PDF now happens in the background. We talked a little bit about this and this. You can now align text. I think it's great to have it inside of there. I think everybody at this point in time has downloaded some sort of add-on utility to do this. If you do a lot of IFC, also, this is a great feature, but till it works with Revit content, I think it's pointless. If you're using the coordination model, so if you go to insert coordination model link, it will tell you what's changed from the previous link to the new link. I personally will never use this because I can see that online and I'm not going to be slowing my Revit down. I can also see it on Revit files online. So it is not set up, and they said they are not in any immediate process to incorporate that into the version of Revit for the Revit links. But you do have this on here if you need to be looking at it. So go through a ton of MEP and structure stuff as you guys start going through and looking at that. Do look at that. The new Revit home. I don't know why this is new. This has been there for a while. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but if you go to the home, there's a button down here that says, let me go to the new Revit home. I personally can't stand it because it doesn't differentiate between Revit and family. I can change it from date modified to type, but then it just first to last. I went in broken. I went families up here or families down here. This also doesn't include templates. So I don't know. This has been here since Revit like 21.
Takeaway too. I toggled it and went like, nope.
Yep. It's like, nope, nope. It is nicer on the Autodesk projects. I do like it on Autodesk projects because it actually gives you like a tree drop down here of what you're looking at there. So this is kind of cool when you get into it, but for the regular stuff and the recents, it's horrible for recents. So toggle it back and forth. Philip said he's been using it. Yeah, Philip, you like to adopt those crazy new. You probably have a black, dark theme background too. So who knows? But those are some of those features that are out there. Spend some time.
The
So
new
cool. So
Revit home,
what actual questions do we have? Since we've
Got a
got
couple.
8 minutes.
Brian, the new Revit home is in 24 and it breaks some projects,
Yes.
just so people.
Yeah, on larger
Like,
projects, I haven't
really
done the Revit
And
home
any of
work.
your files, you have new Revit home on. So maybe that's different in 25.
Hopefully. So what are our questions?
I know, do you want questions from the chat or questions from the Q&A?
Well, let's do questions in the Q&A. Let's reward the people who follow the rules.
Do Rick's because his was first and you haven't, we've been ignoring it. Oh, Jason says he sent one via email.
Oh, that's right, he did. So what do we got?
I know, wait, which one of Rick's have we been ignoring?
Is it,
Just his preload link, I think.
yeah, is it possible to change?
I can't see that because of my upside
Oh,
down
because
world.
it says changing a preloaded link from by internal origin to by shared coordinates possible?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go insert link Revit, since I'm in 25, I only upgrade. No, I did upgrade another family. I did upgrade another project. Woo! I upgraded this one. So cool. So I'm linking this in origin to origin.
He was so funny this morning. He's like, I've got to upgrade the warming hut.
I gotta upgrade the warming hut. I mean, come on. I've been using the warming hut since like Revit since like 2006. Gotta keep upgrading that one. So when you link in a file, origin to origin or whatever, when you select that file, you have down here shared site. If you have shared site set up, you're going to get the move instance to. So it actually give you a value over here that says move instance to these shared coordinates. That's how you can set that up. So if you really want to go through and, oh, gee, we just brought this in origin, I now want to move it to that. You literally just select the link somehow. You don't even have to select it in the screen. Most people think you do. You can come over here and say select all instances in the project. That will select it. So you don't even have to open a view where it is. And then you could come down here and say, hey, let's move instances to that. The other thing that a lot of people I don't think do know is if you do move a link or you're like, man, did somebody accidentally move that? If you select a link and right click, you can reposition a linked file to internal origin or to the project base point. So you have the capability to go through and do that. It's like, cool, I want to move that back to the internal origin, or right click, I want to move that back to the project base point. In my location, that's going to be situation. Always, it's going to be the same point. But yeah, so that's the case. If you try to move a Revit linked file and you're like, it won't freaking let me move it. It says it's pinned, but I can't unpin it. It's grayed out. That's because the shared site is set up. You have to come down here and basically say disable shared position. So if you're trying to move one that's set up via shared and you can't, it's because you got to come into your shared site and change its sharing position. I forget what the terminology actually is. Or you can say move to. So yes, Trevor, whoever put that, there is a way to do that. Rick, sorry.
Trevor's, oh, there's one more. Philip's not going in.
What's our next one?
Do you have it? Do you have Trevor's, Melissa?
Yes, I do have Trevor's.
I think I was sort of paying attention today versus other days I don't. Your internet problems.
I know. It's like a third world country down here. Who knew? Just kidding, Australia. Okay, so Trevor's got a fascia question. Is there a way to have fascias of different heights that abut or join each other, join nicely? For example, we have many projects that have an 8-inch fascia on rakes and 6 inches on eaves. Yeah,
unfortunately, when you're dealing with fascias, the only way the fascias will clean up is if it is one fascia. So even if like this case, I did this as, I did this fascia here, it's its own fascia, it's a 1x12. This one I came over here and did, I think is a 1x6 or whatever. Even if you're doing this, if I come back and say, cool, let me go create similar on this, and I'll do another one here, and then maybe I hit escape and I come back, oops, I forgot I linked something in way over here. And then I come back and be like, cool, I want to do one down here. So let me do another one of these and say create similar. When you do this, they're not going to clean up. The only way fascias clean up is if you're doing a fascia and it's one continuous sweep. So rather than creating similar, you'd have to come back and say, ooh, I want to add or remove segments. And then if I add it to this one, you'll see it will put like the little what that's called. I just drew mind blank. I had it like 10 seconds ago. But it will take this fascia and make it clean up and kind of make that go together better. But they have to be a continuous fascia. So for me, even like in a situation like this, I'd be deleting that one, grabbing this one and saying, cool, add or remove segments, let me add this. But to get from a 6-inch to an 8-inch situation, no, you're just, there you go, that's what you get. You can try to pull the grip out to make it come to the edge if that's what you're looking for, but you're not going to be able to get this to do anything else that you're going to want to do. So hopefully that answers the question. No, you can't.
Yeah, that's a sad
Hey.
answer.
Paint tag, I think we still have that in the chat.
I have no
Yes.
idea what it is because I can't keep track of the chat always. So
It was a
what's
while
it say?
that says, can you show me how that tag for your paint P1 works? The one
Oh.
with the elbows on both ends.
It's
Oh,
not. It's independent. So if I grab, I think I broke some stuff here. I think my tag has 2 things on here. If I pull that out, it is not. So I do have this as its own individual. It's just a detail component family. If I go say create similar, I can be like, cool, I wanted to draw that over here. I'm going from this point to this point, right? Oops, should have flipped it. I get that. I have the capability to turn the text visibility on if I want to. I have the capability to turn off the start or end lines in case I'm going around another corner or whatever it is. But it is not part of the tag. For me, the tag is getting into, this is actually a room tag, right? So if I select this, you'll see it's a room tag tagging my main wall finish. So if I were to grab my room, I hate freaking tile. If I were to come in here and grab my room and go, ooh, that main color is no longer paint 1, it's paint 2, and I change it in my room, all my tags that are extracting that main color are going to update. I could also do the same thing, cut a section or an elevation and tag that same room tag using making sure I'm using the main color versus accent 1, accent 2, etc. So it's not a single tag. This is going to be just a detail component family I place in. But my tags do have reference planes built into them. So I can come in and like, oh, let me go align this to this. I do have those values so I can align it and get it set up where it should be.
Well, and there's new multi-alignment for annotations, right?
Yeah, I have no idea how to even do that. Oh, cool. Look at it's up here.
Yep.
This is not one I played with in the beta. Align them to the top. No, align them to the bottom.
I think that might be nice for my shop drawings
Cool.
for us.
Align to the bottom. This one? Nothing's happening.
Maybe your leader. I assume there's one up in the chat too about the wrapping. I assume you picked up on that one because
No, these aren't aligning because it thinks they're aligned because technically the insertion point there and the insertion point here are in the same location. So this insertion point's there. If I broke these and then said align bottom, then they align. So if you have any quirks with your generic annotations and the insertion points being in weird places, it's not going to work for you.
Which is pretty much all of them ever.
Exactly.
okay. I don't know if you answered this one directly, but I feel like you probably hit on it just in all the wrapping that you did. I have not liked to use the wrap at the ends because you cannot snap to the core wall at the ends.
Yeah, I hit that one.
Got that one? Okay, I thought you did.
Yep.
I was tinkering with my, I was getting angry about the align and lock walls at that point. Have you run into any limitation for the new multi-loops for mullion profile family?
I have not, and that was the one I'm trying to look for the what's new. You know, so mullion profiles don't have to have a single sketch line, which we've always been able to do in every single damn profile. Mullion profile families can actually do two sets of lines or multiple sets of lines. I don't even see it in here. Multiple loops, there it is. So you can actually, cool, there's no picture in it, but you can actually have multiple loops in there now. To be able to do it. So in sport, before we could only do a rectangle or a circle, but we could actually do a rectangle inside of a rectangle to get a little bit more realistic looking of a mullion. I have not played with it. I honestly don't know if it's going to be worth it because I can't imagine adding all the extra faces in large projects. Because if you think about mullions in Revit, the mullion isn't one continuous thing going vertically up the building. Everywhere there's a grid segment, it breaks it. So now I'm adding additional, let's just say I did a rectangle, I'm adding those additional 4 faces to 3,000 mullions. Is it something that's going to be worth it? Sure, your floor plan will be cool, your section will be cool when you look at it, but 90% of the time I'm looking at those at an 1/8 inch scale where it doesn't matter. The same thing for me, I don't actually nest in detail components like the out of the box one does, because again, now I'm adding that detail component 3,000 times and it just really starts to blow at the size. So I haven't played with this, haven't looked at it at all, but it might be something to get into and start looking at it. Oh, cool. Yes, you can do it. I know John Pearson literally just tweeted today, he took the Shining Maze, made it a mullion profile and put it into a mullion and did it. And I'm like, cool, but yeah, I just can't imagine how that would blow up my file for, I don't personally think, a lot of game.
I think that's all the ones we may have missed. You just have your email from Jason.
Yeah, so Jason had a question is, what if we have a match line independent views and we've got a call out spanning both of it? So we're going to come in here and just go into my annotate, match line. No, sorry, match lines on the view tab. I always think they're on the annotate because it's an annotative tool, right? So I got a match line here. Cool. And now on either side of that match line, maybe I'm doing a call out that spans both of those. I don't think this is that big of a deal because personally for me, I almost never use the call out tool. I don't like my call outs being dependent of the view itself. So for me, when I do this stuff, I go do a floor plan view. Cool, I'm going to do floor plan. I'm going to do my enlarged plans. Okay, so now I've got my enlarged plan, right? That enlarged plan, we change the phase. It is the right phase. Phase filter will be none. Let me just turn off the damn. Oh, discipline. Oh, I did it for level 2. Pay attention when selecting floor plan types, you're on the right freaking level. In large plans, I needed to do it for level 1, right? Oops, I already had one, but that's okay. So what I do, this is how I do it. Then for me, I just go turn the crop region on, and then I make my crop region where I want that call out to be. I know this seems tedious and more of a headache than what most people do. I do not like my call outs being dependent on the bubble, right? So then this is going to be my JSON view, right? So now back in each one of those dependent views, or even if they're separate views, I can now go do my call out, but I can just go reference the JSON view. So now I can be like, cool, here's going to be one bubble. I'm going to take this bubble here. I'm going to move its bubble around to the other side because that would be my dependent on that side. I'm even going to just copy that one over to here because they're just be referencing, pull this bubble over here. That's how I would do it. It's the same view. I would just do it this way. So that's how I do it. It's how I always do callouts. I almost never use the callout button unless it's going to be a detail callout in like a section or something. Then there's no reason to go create a whole new section. But for floor plan callouts, I just don't use it because now my bubble can be as big as I want it to be, and this is not affecting my crop region of my other view.
So you're lying.
Yes, but 90% of the time it's like, oh, I wanted the bubble to be cut tight there. I want this to be out here so I can see that door, or maybe I don't care. I want to be really close to the wall, but back here I needed to pull that bubble out here.
So I missed the part. So you've got a match line. So would you not use dependent views and create actual?
I am also not a big fan of dependent views. I don't do a whole lot, but even if I did, I think Jason's thing was in his dependent views, he had the bubble just disappearing. So when he had one big bubble in his dependent views, the edge of the bubble was just disappearing.
Okay.
Right, so if I come back here and go, which floor plan am I in? Right click, duplicate a dependent. Turn my crop region on. So now if we take this crop region and say, cool, let's go really close here. Here. But you'll start to see that that call out bubble is going to be gone because it's outside the annotated. I also don't use dependent views. I'm not a big fan of them. So, yep, hopefully that answers Jason's question.
I think you got them all.
Beautiful. And only 7 minutes over. One of these days, I will actually do a Revit radio in time. No, I won't, and I don't care. Well, thank you, everyone. And as you play with new features of 25, let me know what you can find that breaks it, because obviously all of my doors have broken the new join feature. So cool. I got to be talking to some Autodesk people on that one. So thank you, everyone. Hopefully you guys found this great and informative. And like I said, always tell other people about this. The more people we get on here asking questions, or in some cases answering them, the better it becomes. And hopefully we will see you all next month. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.